Hi everyone, welcome to Bawo's Kitchen Journal. My name is B, and on today's kitchen journal, we'll be cooking Gbagbafofo. Gbagbafofo is an Ishekiri word for okra pepper soup. So right now, I just have my crab and octopus in pot, and I added in some salt. And I'm going to add in some onion powder. You can also use fresh onion. Just use a small bulb and slice it in. I'm adding in seasoning cube. If you're using already cooked seafood, then you obviously don't have to cook it again. Now I'm adding in some garlic paste, so you can use either fresh garlic or you could also use garlic powder. I'm adding in a cube of lemon juice, so that's about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So you can skip that if you like. I just prefer it because it pairs perfectly with seafood. Now I'm going to add in, halfway through the cook, I'm going to add in my raw shrimp. Because shrimp cooks really fast, you're just going to cook it for another 5 to 7 minutes. As soon as the color is pink, the seafood is ready. The shrimp is ready and you can take it off heat. Okay, so it is ready. Now I'm going to keep it aside. All the ingredients I'll be using I'll be using okra, periwinkle, grounded habanero pepper, cooked clams, and pepper soup spice. So now I have my pot. I'm adding in water. And then I'm going to add in my grounded habanero pepper. So you could also use dry pepper. The grounded habanero is floating because it's frozen. And now I've added in my pepper soup spice. Just adding some more pepper soup spice. You have to be careful with the water. If you're looking for 4 liters of soup, then you only have to use half of that water. So use only 2 liters of water. So the overall quantity of soup you need, you only use half of it. So you allow that to boil. And now I'm going to add in my cooked ham. So you can use ham, you can use beef, pork, chicken, whatever you like. Adding in the cooked seafood that we cooked at the beginning. So I have crab, octopus, and shrimp. Adding in some cooked clams. And I'll stir that. Okay, so it's important you don't add too much water so that the soup will not be too light. You want it to have some kind of body. It should be a little bit thick. Now I'm adding in my periwinkle. And we'll just stir that. Okay, so I'm adding just a little bit of water because it dried up when I cooked the pepper soup, the base at the beginning. So you let that to boil. And I'm just going to stir, and then I'm going to test it. Okay, now I'm going to add in some salt and seasoning cube to my taste. Okay, we're just stirring it, and then we're going to test it again. So remember, you don't want to add too much water, otherwise it will be too light. Just use half of the quantity of soup you want. So now I'm adding in my grated okra. So you can slice your okra if you like it that way. I just like mine to be grated because I don't like chewing on okra. Okay, so we're just going to stir that. I don't like mine to be too light, so I'm going to be adding some more okra later as I'm stirring it and checking on the how thick or how much it's drawing. And I'll add in some more okra until it is to my taste. Okay, so adding some more. This soup is different. It's an healthier version of the regular okra soup that we make, that has palm oil base and tomato. So palm oil base and pepper. This one doesn't have any oil at all in it. It's just like cooking pepper soup, and then adding in some your okra in it. So I'm adding in some more okra and I'm stirring it. For those who doesn't know, pepper soup is obviously a soup, but it's very light. It's almost watery. It's made with pepper, any kind of protein that you like, and then the pepper soup spice. I will show you in future videos. You see how my pot has increased. That's because I added in all the okra that was in the bowl when I was adding it, and then I added in the rest of the seafood and some more I haven't added any more water. It is quite important that you don't add too much water, otherwise it will be too light. I like mine to be as thick as this. And obviously, because I added in some more seafood and some more okra, I will need to adjust my seasoning. So I'm going to add in seasoning cube, and then I'll stir, and then I'll test it to make sure it is to my taste. So remember, you don't want to add too much water at the beginning. You can always add water later, but just at the beginning, start with half of the quantity of soup you want for water. So if you want 4 liters, use only 2 liters of water. Okay, so the soup is basically ready. It can be eaten with pando, eba, starch, semo, whatever swallow you can think of. You can use it to eat this soup. Okra pepper soup, Gbagbafofo. Okay, so I will show you how I make my starch in a moment. So that is starch, the one that looks orangey, yellowish thing there. Okay, so for starch, I just have a dry pot on fire. And that's what I'm using. Cassava starch, or starch is made from cassava. The starch I'm using is made from cassava. So I'm adding in 2 leveled cup of the starch powder, and then I will add in 3 cups of water. This would feed 2 people. So if it's just 1 serving you want, then you can divide the recipe by 2. You can use only 1 cup of starch and then 1.5 cup of water. So that's just the 3 cup. I'm adding in some more, and we'll stir it. At this point, the cooker isn't turned on, it's still off. I'm just mixing everything to make sure it's thoroughly combined first before I turn on my heater. Okay, I'm going to add in about half a teaspoon of palm oil. That's what gives it the yellowish orangish color that the starch has. And starch is mostly common in Delta or the Niger Delta area. Okay, so I have everything I need. You can use about half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon of palm oil, but I only have half a teaspoon in here right now. So 2 cups of leveled starch, 3 cups of water, and half a teaspoon of palm oil. You can use any type of oil. It has to be palm oil. That's what gives it that bright color, because starch by itself is pure white. Okay, now I have my fire. The cooker is turned on. It's on medium heat, and I'm going to continuously stir it. And when you want to stir it, you want to make sure you're stirring it to the base of the pot, and you're not just stirring only the top. You have to scrape the bottom with your spatula and stir everything together. Make sure you're getting all the edges, all the corners, the middle, the under. You want to mix everything together. Okay, so you can see it's coming together gradually. It's becoming lumpy. You don't want to leave this unattended to, otherwise it could just spoil for your habitat. You want to keep stirring it. Don't leave it unattended to. Don't take your eye off it. Don't just keep stirring. As soon as it becomes thick, you keep stirring. And okay, so this is the tricky part. You can see that it is a little bit white. So any part that is white, you want to turn it towards the bottom of the pot so that the heat from the pot is going to melt that white away. We used to call that white seed. So you want to turn it, any part that is white, you would turn it to the bottom of the pot so that that part dissolves. Starch is usually easy to make, but I can understand that it's difficult for some people to make it. You just keep trying. Follow the measurement exactly. Don't put jara in the measurement. 2 leveled cup, 3 cups of water, half teaspoon of palm oil. And the trick is not to leave it unattended to. You have to keep stirring it continuously. Don't take your eyes off it just for a second. Just keep stirring, and if there is any white parts, you have to turn it to the bottom of the pot so that the heat will melt the white part away. So don't panic if it's all looking white and not looking nice. Reduce the cooker to low or to the minimum and just turn it, see, and turn it to the part that has the seed. Turn it to the bottom and just leave it to cook, and then you stir it again. You check it constantly. So I'm just waiting for the rest of the parts to be all dissolved, and you want it to be in the consistency of almost like transparent. It should be like translucent. You should be able to see through it. There should be no white anywhere, no lump, nothing. Okay, it's almost ready. I'm just waiting for the last bit to melt away. And while it's doing that, I'm grabbing in, okay, I'm going to grab in my plate. Okay, just look at that. It's almost not white. Any part that I see that is white, I turn it to the bottom of the pot so that that part will dissolve. And at this point, your starch is basically ready. You want it to be translucent just like this, and it's all looking all perfect. And that is all that I have today on Bawo's Kitchen Journal. All the ingredients I've used and the step will be listed in the description below. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time.